The Flash 795, Jeremy Adams writing with Roger Cruz, Fernando Pasarin, and George Cambadas on the art. So, yeah, this is the penultimate issue of the 1 Minute War, and it's pretty much just about Barry getting the family together to make this assault to hopefully try and turn back time to fix everything that they've done. Which basically amounts to overcharging their Speed Force pylon thing that they're
in order to do timey-wimey.
Yeah. I mean, it made enough sense when he was explaining it to me.
It made as much sense as any other Flash time travel device has, before. So, also, and this makes me feel like a bad fan because I've talked about how much I love Jesse Quick and Liberty Bell and stuff. I never made the connection of the ringing of the bell being a vibrational frequency, and that's how she's able to access both. I don't know what that says about me, if I knew that and forgot it or just never thought about it, but reading Jeremy Adams explain that, a light bulb went off, and I was like, oh my god, this is great.
I don't think it ever occurred to me before I read this issue that the Liberty Bell had anything to do with Philadelphia's Liberty Bell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, man. I'd always thought just the Liberty Bell being a symbol of American, the Liberty Bell of an American thing.
I don't think I'd ever even heard of the Liberty Bell until the gang in It's Always Sunny cracked it.
But yeah, so just, knowing that I just love that Jesse Chambers can, depending on what's needed, she can either access her mom's powers or her dad's powers. And, that's such a Flash legacy thing on top of it all. But just hear, him tying that to the Liberty Bell and the vibrational frequencies and what she stands for, like the strength that's needed. I just loved all that.
You could also skate in the Liberty Bell in Tony Hawk's 2, I want to say. Maybe 3? I think it was 2. I think it was 2.
I think it's 2, because 2 is the ones I played the least amount, and that doesn't ring a bell. So.
Yeah, I think you can.
I had to.
You had to what?
Say that it doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention to
I was expecting the biggest groan, and when nothing came, I got worried. I froze.
I mean, you got Connor shaking his head, so I mean that's a thing. So yeah, they all run up to the Fraction's big antenna thing, and Liberty Bell cracks it open, and they go in, and the whole plan is to just overcharge it, which will send all the Speed Force energy into overdrive, and it'll reverse time. The big emotional thing of the issue, though, is that Irie thinks, oh, we're going to get Dad back, this will fix everything, but there's a slight hitch on that, is Barry doesn't actually think Wally will come back with everyone else. He thinks it'll fix everything. It'll bring Iris back. Sorry, it'll bring the world back. Everything that they've done will be reversed. But because Wally's a speedster and kind of exists outside of the usual rules, he might not come back along with them. So Linda has to lie to Irie and sort of pretend that she's not upset and things like that. So that's kind of where the emotional side of the issue comes. You also get a little bit of Jay sneaking around the Fraction ship, like John McClane with his big laser cannon, which is entertaining enough. So. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, the pacing of this story arc has been pretty solid, I think. All the fighting, it had some nice things to call back to, like Miss Murder interacting with Irie again, and be able to call back to those moments.
I love that the Fraction also is like the Kryptonians are causing problems because they're processing speed differently. Like they didn't account for that. So, like, they would be further along if they didn't have to account for the Kryptonians. So I did like that.
Yeah. And it ends in a pretty rough place where it looks like Barry's losing and the team's starting to lose. They're surrounded by tanks and, like, drones and things. And then the last page, it just says elsewhere, and Wally wakes up somewhere else. Surprise, the Flash didn't die. He just went somewhere. Because that's always seems to be what happens when a Flash looks like they die. He's on Flash Planet. Or Planet Flash, they call it.
Planet Flash, which used to be Time Point, which is a Time Master's like vanishing point.
Yeah.
Type place. Not gonna like I love Jeremy Adams as a writer, right? I've loved this run. Being reminded of an event that I did not enjoy, not good.
I mean, I think it's more than just a way to have Wally survive and come back. Because Wally's probably going to come back and save the day in the next issue, I assume.
Yeah. but seeing characters that he is responsible for the death of from Heroes in Crisis pop up and be reminded of that, not making me feel great. So, but that said, a lot like Tom Taylor bringing in the concept of Rick Grayson into Nightwing, really ballsy move on Adam's part, and I respect it. Just in the moment, I winced and I was like, oh god, no, don't. When I saw that Blue Jay guy, and then I looked around, I was like, oh no. So whatever this place is, again, I'm thinking that it has ties to Vanishing Point and all of that.
Yeah,
stuff,
I didn't read this as like a physical planet in space. I read this as like something in the Speed Force or something.
You're right, a point in time that's essential. It's like a crux of like a nexus of realities type deal.
Yeah. So there was 3 artists on this issue. I guess they were struggling to keep everything on schedule. It has that problem that one of the other issues had. I can't remember if it was I don't know if it was a cruise issue, but maybe it was. But the weird looking like stretched out limbs in some of the panels when Barry's talking really stuck out as being kind of weird. I wouldn't say most of it's bad necessarily, but it definitely hurts the flow that there's so many different artists on it.
But it's also each artist is handling their own part of the story, so there's never like crossover of art on different stuff. It's like I feel like all the J stuff was one artist, and the Barry stuff was one artist. So, but yeah, it's not terrible, but not great.
It's got a good build to the assault though, because it does that thing where they're all lining up to make their run, and then it flashes back to like the plan being laid out, and you see a little bit of the run, and then it goes back to the plan again. So it does this thing where it makes it feel like a big deal because it's kind of revolving around it constantly and setting it up. So, fun penultimate issue, and I like that Jesse got to have a little bit of a spotlight in this one. So that was good. And also Wallace and Bart bickering with each other in the background is just becoming one of the running things that this run's doing.
Yeah, because Bart's talking about how while he's been running, he has swallowed bugs before, and so that kind of is the idea of how they're going to attack the Spire. Is because they can move, because they're not moving at full speed. So, and then just Ace getting on him about that was very funny.
Yeah. So, I don't have much more to add. I'm looking forward to the final part of the story. Matt, are we giving Flash 795?
I'm in the say 7.5.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go straight 7. It's a fine issue, but it'd be nice to have a consistent artist on it. But decent penultimate arc issue, I'd say.